Hello friends, in this video I am going to talk about most widely used AWS services, what is the service are doing and where to use that service. Whenever any beginners logged in into AWS console first time, they see 200 plus different services and they get overwhelmed and did not know where to start. So in this video I will cover very well most widely used services overview, as well as you will get a real use case idea where to use which services, and at the end of this video you will have a clear picture about all the most widely used AWS services with real use case in architecture where to use which services. So let's get started. Generally, say for example, if you want to build any web applications or any web product, say for example, if you want to build a e-commerce application like Amazon.com or a Flipkart.com, for building any web application, generally we need a different components, right? We in any web application we need a 3 tiers. There will be a front end tiers where user can interact. So we need a front end where user can interact. We need a back end where our programming language will build the application logic, and we need a database where our data gets stored. So in our e-commerce application we have a like product and other data, right, that store in database. Then our application layer can access those data, and then user will get those data on the front end. Okay, so in any web application, if you want to build a Amazon.com, we need a different component. So any cloud provider like AWS, they are giving us a different services in different categories. Like there is a compute service, there is a storage service, there is a database services. Apart from that, there is a identity and authentication services, DNS services, AIML services, right? Security related service, application coordination related services, and data processing and analytics services. So these are like caching services as well. So these are different categories of services. So when we want to build any web product or a mobile application, we need to think about this way, like what service we want to use it, right? So when we are building Amazon.com kind of website, so generally flow start from users do a request to Amazon.com, and through internet that request goes to a particular cloud, right? So in this situation, let's see, we have all the different services available in different areas. So when someone try to access Amazon.com, that user will enter that in browser, and that request from client side to goes onto the server side, and that request so whenever user type that Amazon.com, through internet request goes to route 53. So route 53 is a first like we can say this routing service, DNS service in AWS. That DNS service allow you to route your request. So whenever any request come in Amazon.com, that request get resolved and it will call the internal services next in the architecture. So say for example, if you are calling Amazon.com, that DNS routing will have a local zone defined that will do the routing of that request and do call to the different services. And there are different way to route your request, like latency based routing, failover based routing. If one region is fail, it will route request to another region, and there are other type of routing also available. So this is called a DNS service, which will resolve your domain link to particular other services. So whenever someone try to access Amazon.com, they need a like static front end file, like there is a JavaScript, HTML, CSS kind of code of front end, which will be stored in S3. S3 is a storage object service, object storage service, in which you are able to store static file like CSS, JS, and your static front end file, HTML and other stuff, images and other stuff you are able to store into S3. So those static file from front end get served to user by using CloudFront. CloudFront is a CDN service, which is a content delivery network service. So whenever any request come in through S3, it will serve those static files by using CloudFront CDN service. So CDN service benefit is it will serve the data from the nearby location. So it will be fast delivery of those files to end users. So that way any request come in, that will so whenever user run amazon.com, it will serve the front end static file from S3 through CDN to their browser, and then it will call a backend APIs to get a product listing and other stuff, right? In e-commerce website we have a product listing. So whenever they call the they to get a product, they need to call a APIs, right? So they do call to the users through Route 53, they will call the API. So there is a API layer here. So we are able to build a API by using like API gateway. API gateway is one of the service in AWS which will allow you to create a REST APIs, WebSocket based API or a TTPS based APIs, and it will have a different capabilities like to use it. We are able to define a throttling and some high level configuration as well, the authentication related API key based authentication and other JWT token based authentication. So different kind of features available in API gateway related to APIs. So whenever you from front end get product API get call, it will go to API gateway, and then API gateway needs some business logic to be run. So it will call a compute service, right? So there are compute services. So these compute services are EC2, Lambda, and these all are compute services. So when API gateway call the Lambda function, in Lambda function we have a like Node.js or a Python logic running, which will do the database connection. Say for example, on database side there is a RDS, relational database services, right? So in RDS we have a MySQL or a PostgreSQL, other database are running in RDS. So Lambda will do the do the SQL query on RDS and get the product listing, and then return those listing into JSON format to API gateway, when it will get returned to the front end and it is get displayed in HTML, right? So that way like e-commerce website can list out the product. But whenever there is we are building backend API, we need to think about like DDoS attack and some security hacking related stuff. So when someone do DDoS attack or a lot of requests, we are able to block those requests through these security related services like WAF or a shield related service. Those are help us with the security related protection. So these are security services. Okay. So if you don't want to use Lambda, there is we are also able to host our application. Like we can build our APIs of Node.js and we can deploy those our application code into EC2. So this EC2 is a like compute service which we are able to build our application server and we can install whatever software we need into EC2, and we are able to run our. So EC2 is the most widely used compute service where we can store our application code like Node and Express related API, and that API will do the database connection to RDS and get those data and send it back to user. So whenever we use EC2 and database, we can return those data. But in Amazon.com or a heavy traffic site, there are possible like millions of users are using that application, right? So in that case, single server will not work. So we need to, according to the website traffic, we need to implement a scalability. So here we have this application load balancer, right? So this application load balancer will balance the load. So we have a like multiple EC2 servers are running. There are a lot of EC2 servers are running, and that load get balanced by application load balancer. So request will come from front end to back end through load balancer to EC2. While when we are using EC2, we also can configure auto scaling. So say for example, there are high number of traffic coming in whenever some sales are there, right? In Amazon.com, some prime days or some festival sales are running. There are a lot of, or a heavy discount, there are a lot of traffic coming in into the web platform. So in that case, we need to implement a auto scaling so that whenever traffic goes beyond certain percentage, it will automatically scale up this EC2 instance. So it can create a 10 or multiple EC2 servers. So that way auto scaling, one of the feature of EC2 allow you to do auto scaling of your EC2 servers when traffic increase, or you are also able to do time based auto scaling as well as traffic based auto scaling, and this application load balancer will distribute the traffic to different servers. In so these are like general service. This API gateway and Lambda are serverless service. So in that case, you did not to need to worry about managing servers and patching OS and other stuff, because those are serverless services. You need to just worry about your business logic, and you are able to run your application serverless way. So this is like, these are the simple example of we get a call, Amazon.com, we loaded our front end from S3 to CloudFront, and then we call the backend API do the database operation and then return the data. And according to the use case, like if we have a simple application, no much traffic, we can do EC2 based hosting. If we have a infrequent traffic, we have a like high traffic, sometime low traffic, we don't know the traffic scenarios. In that case, Lambda is good, and it will charge pay as you go model based. EC2 can charge our hourly, like up to whatever time it will run, it will charge us fixed whether requests are coming or not, right? And this Lambda will charge us based on the request. Same way, if we have a like frequency are high and properly running, we are able to use EKS or ECS based container services also. So these are container services, like EKS are container based service, Lambda is serverless, and ECS is general virtual machine service. Lightsail also sometimes used with WordPress or any other kind of CMS hosting. This Fargate is kind of like with ECS and EKS, we have two options. Either we can use EC2 or for a compute, or else for container perspective, if you want to use serverless option, there is a Fargate options we are able to use with EKS or ECS based container services. So this way we are able to use compute or a database or a API related services. So in database also we have a different options. Like in database side, we have a RDS. This is a relational database service. In normal applications we can use RDS service, but if we have a very high traffic kind of application, in that case we are also able to use DynamoDB. DynamoDB is a NoSQL database service, where this RDS is a relational database service. So PostgreSQL and MySQL, other kind of relational database we are able to use on RDS. If you want to use a NoSQL database, there is a DynamoDB which will have a low latency, and we are able to do fast operation on DynamoDB based NoSQL operation. Sometimes if you need a high throughput based RDS related stuff, Aurora is also one of the good options, which is AWS database Aurora, which will support MySQL and PostgreSQL and other RDS related stuff. That Aurora give a also better latency and comparatively. And these are some other option as well. If you want to use caching related stuff, this Elastic Cache. So for example, if we have any application and we need to serve it fast in a high traffic area, sometimes we need to cache some data, right? In database we want to do some caching. At that time we are also able to use Elastic Cache services, which is a Redis Memcache based service, where we are able to do caching of our data in Elastic Cache. So it will for caching perspective, this Elastic Cache is good service. Apart from this, there is a OpenSearch is also one of the good service when we want to do low latency operation, fast operation, and if we have a high streaming of data coming, and if you want to do ingestion and consumption and low latency operation, OpenSearch is also one of the good options. So everyone have a different hosting. So these are like compute and database services. We have this API options, load balancing option, and auto scaling. These are storage related stuff. So when we use EC2, we need to use EBS block storage for storing our data and file related stuff. We need to use EBS with EC2. So we are able to change our storage. So in EC2 we have a different like we are able to use different size of storage and compute. We are also able to choose instance type. There are a lot of different instance type available. We can start with low instance type, and then according to our load we are able to use high configuration of memory optimized instance type or a compute optimized instance type. So there are a lot of instance type available in that as well. So whenever we load Amazon.com, we need to log in, right? User need to log in. So for that perspective, there is a we are able to log in through Gmail or a Facebook or a other social media based login or a normal login. This Cognito authentication is a service. Cognito is a service in AWS which allow us to do a social based login and authentication related operations. It will allow, and if you want to do secure certification while we do any request, ACM is a one of the service which will do manage certificates for HTTPS based operations while we do any calls. This ACM is a certificate manager service. Also, whenever we do from EC2 or a Lambda, when we connecting to database or any other services, we need to use those credentials to connect that, right? Username, password, and other stuff. So those secure data we are able to store in secret manager. Secret manager is one of the service in AWS which will store the secret data. So we have a username, password, and some sensitive data that we are able to store in secret manager. And while we do operation like database connection from EC2 or a Lambda function, we are able to get those data from secret manager and then connect the RDS or any other services. So this secret manager is used to store the secret data. Apart from that, like when we using this application end to end, we also need to debug our application, right? Like what is wrong, what is going right. This CloudWatch is a monitoring service which will allow you to monitor our application end to end, as well as we are able to dig into like logs, what is wrong in particular request, where is the errors. We also able to monitor the metrics like is Lambda is running fine, there is any error or not, high latency or not, invocation, number of invocation, everything we are able to monitor through metrics in CloudWatch. So these are different services related to it. And so apart from that, there is a orchestration services. So for example, when we have any application having a very high traffic, like Amazon.com and Flipkart.com, those are very popular e-commerce platforms. So of course there are millions of users are doing operations, millions of users are logged in into system, they are fetching the product, searching the product, doing add to cart operation. So in that case, they are doing different high high throughput operation, right? We need a we need to process those event. So whenever someone do add to cart, there will be event produced. When someone do payment, it will produce the event. So each and every payload in JSON is kind of event. So we are able to orchestrate, we are able to build a event driven architecture. So in that case, this application coordination services will help. So say for example, when someone do add to cart, they add to cart operation, that event will get placed into event bridge. So wherever someone do create a order, place a order, that event goes to event bridge, and then from event bridge we are able to call other services. So say for example, whenever order placed from event bridge, we are able to route our events. So we are able to do event routing. When order placed, it will do another service call, say for example shipping service call, inventory adjustment service call, or a payment related operation service call, right? So event bridge able to help us to do event routing, as well as we are also able to do scheduling, schedule job. If you want to run any Lambda or any API, any other logic frequently with like daily or every 10 minutes, we are able to do scheduling as well in event bridge by using scheduler. Okay, so that in also in heavy traffic application, we also sometimes need to decouple the load, right? The SQS service is a queue service. It will queue our like whenever any event come in, it will queue, it will store that event, and then it will process consume on consumer side. So this Lambda, say for example Lambda having any error occurs, it will send that event to SQS. SQS is a queue service that will send the event to SQS, and then SQS will send event to SNS. So SNS is a simple notification service. It will send a email, SMS related stuff. So whenever we are calling any APIs, get product or something, and it will do connection and get data. Meanwhile, if something goes wrong, it will push those error into SQS, and SQS will call a SNS service. So SQS is a queue service which will store the data. SNS is a like notification service which will send a notification to either email or a SMS, and it can also call some other services. Okay, same way like this step function is a orchestration services. If you want to do multiple step based operation, if you want to call like different lambda functions and logically wait and do some operation, this step function can help you to orchestrate multiple step while you do complex operation, right? So when we building like this kind of big brand of e-commerce application, of course management also ask a lot of questions. They need a lot of report as well, right? So in that case, like whenever user do any operation like add to cart, it will become one event. Same way payment, that will become one event. So we are able to build a event driven application. So whenever some event occur from user side, we can consider those one event payload as a one event, and we can store those streaming data into Kinesis. So Kinesis is a data streaming service. Same way MSK, manage the Kafka, is also one of the event streaming service. So we are able to store each and every user stream into event streaming service like Kinesis, and then we are able to store those data into S3 for our further analysis. Like all the data gets stored into S3. So later we are able to, based on those, so whatever order placed in Amazon.com, that all gets stored into S3 through Kinesis. So based on those S3 non-structured data, we are able to do, if you want to produce any reports, we are able to, Kinesis is a like data streaming service. We are able to stream data, event streaming data into our service, that will get the data and then put into S3 bucket, that is object storage service. And from then if you want to produce any report, there is a Glue service. Like Glue ETL is a service. Glue is a ETL integration service which will help you to process your data by using Python and Apache Spark. So it will get a data from S3 and then process those data and put those data into catalog, Glue catalog. So from front end side, you are able to query your data by using Ethina. Ethina can also allow you to query your data from S3 as well. And then Ethina is a query service which will allow you to query a data from S3 and some other data storage by using catalog. And Glue is a data processing service. So these are the data related services. And QuickSight is a visualization service which will show you the reports, like different kind of management or a front end reports, which the team member can analyze how many orders are today, what amount of order we received, and how many shipping are completed. So those kind of report they can see from QuickSight by using data. These are the data related services. Also Redshift is a warehouse service. Like if they want to do any complex operation on data later, they can store those data into Redshift for a data analytic perspective. And EMR also one of the Glue like services, big data service. So this way, like these are different different services. So whenever we have a lot of data stored into DynamoDB, RDS, and S3, we are and if we want to do some analysis on those data, any prediction on those data by using AIML based services, we are also able to use AIML based services. So there are different Amazon Bedrock. Amazon Bedrock is kind of like foundational model services which will allow us you to build a GenAI based applications. So if you want to say, for example, if you want to build a chatbot for auto supporting your platform, which will do auto support to any customer questions, this Amazon Bedrock can help you to give a customer answer based on your knowledge base and RAG. So you are able to build a GenAI based services by using different foundational model in Amazon Bedrock. SageMaker and these other services, Poly and Transcribe, are those text to speech and speech to text related service. recognition is like image video related service. So these are AIML services, right? Amazon Bedrock is a widely right now very popular service for building a GNAI application. You can build your agentic system also. You are able to build by using Amazon Bedrock. There are a lot of models get supported by foundational model get supported by Amazon Bedrock. So we are able to build any complex operation on top of your knowledge base data and other stuff. So this way, like at the end of this video, we'll get a over a picture. So if you are beginners, when you log in into console, you will see lot of services similar to this, but now at least you get some idea where to get started, right? So say for example, when you are building any product, any website, it will be like in beginner stage, it will be not popular, right? So we'll get a low traffic. So in that case, user send a request, those requests will have some simple requests like EC2 have those application code, and RDS have your data, and it will do connection, get data, and serve it back, right? Then once you have a like user base increased, you need a 10,000 users, say for example, you need a 2-3 EC2 servers. And then later you have like millions of users, you need a auto scaling, like based on your traffic, you need a multiple EC2 server get auto application server auto get created, right? Same way you need a like other operation, more operation, you might need a DynamoDB or a OpenSearch, right? So according to your traffic, you need to use different services like OpenSearch, RDS, DynamoDB. Same way, like in normal scenario, Lambda can directly process it, right? But sometimes you need it streaming based operation. So in that case, you can use Kinesis or MSK related stuff to distribute that load. Same way, like this SQS and can help you to decouple your operation for event driven operation. Same way, event bridge and other stuff, right? So according to your need and traffic and scalability of application, you are able to use different services. So of course there are 200 plus services, but you need to get understand from where to start, right? Start small, start from EC2, then learn about S3, learn about RDS, learn about Lambda function, learn about API gateway, learn about SNS. So that way, like go step by step, do some simple static website hosting, then do some dynamic website hosting, do some auto scaling. That way you will get step by step idea how to use and each services and where to use it, right? Do some hands-on. So if you are we really new to AWS, go ahead and check my channel. I have a very hands-on video on each and every service on my channel. Apart from that, I have a deep down videos on serverless and other stuff on my YouTube channel. As even I have videos on GenAI. I have a videos on there is a infrastructure as a code, CDK, SAM, and other. So you can explore my channel, do more hands-on, and looking forward to see you more success ahead in your career in AWS. Please like this video, subscribe my channel, and don't forget to share it.